On the Air, episode 110.
Sunny San Diego, California. On the air. Welcome to the Little Tommy Show. That's right. There you go. That's right. A little different configuration here, I see. There you go. Welcome, Sully man. Nicely done. I understand we're starting to put a schedule together for live shows here, James, coming up here. We got April 7th at the Belly Up Tavern for Team Chase, which is a great organization.
I'll be there.
Will you be there? Oh, that's right. You're going to be announcing. That's right. We are doing Fiesta del Sol this year in Solana Beach, so it'll be good. Tommy will be there too.
Absolutely.
Maybe you'll sing a song with us this time.
I don't know about that.
Great to see you. What's going on? What's happening?
This is episode 110. I'm so excited about today's show.
I don't know why you brag about that, because we've been doing this for more than 110 weeks.
And on the average...
We've been doing it for 300 weeks.
On the average, that's pretty good. It's like 30 shows a year. That's pretty good.
Who of you takes off 20 weeks a year?
But,
I'm not sure that anybody can relate to that.
But more importantly, let's give it up for the live audience.
There we go. Good to see you.
Look at that.
Yeah.
There's, of course, our friend Mary, and then I know Rachel Lang right here. That's Rachel.
Yeah.
And there's so many people over here.
I've got. Well, I know you have some. I've got some people introducing the audience, but I'll wait because I want to one-up you on some stuff. So.
All right.
So I saw an Insta, our YouTube. Tommy and I have our own YouTube channel. It's called YouTwitface.com, and I saw on your social media channel that you were in Disneyland in the middle of the week last week.
You know what?
Tuesday Disneyland.
I took my granddaughter.
Again, unrelatable.
I took my granddaughter. She's 4 years old. To Disneyland, Olivia.
Thanks for making me feel bad.
And she had the best time ever. Look at there, she's dancing with Ariel.
Yeah.
I love it.
Where were you at during all this time?
I was the one taking that.
They don't have a bar cart in Disneyland, do they?
You know what? They're bringing booze back to Disneyland.
You know, nothing wrong with that.
Before it was just Club 33, but now a couple of cantinas are having booze.
What could go wrong? The happiest place on earth.
Hey, but I have
it's the only place that doesn't have booze. Is there any reason to bring booze to Disneyland?
Money.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah,
but I have one more photo to share because this guy wakes up Saturdays at 11 a.m. and he watches this show. Okay. This is my Uncle Joe, right there.
There's Uncle Joe.
He's.
How old's Uncle Joe?
That's my sister Rose. She's 63. But Uncle Joe is 95.
Wow.
Just had his 95th birthday.
Well, I was going to one-up you. Now I feel bad about your Uncle Joe. My dad's 94.
Wow.
He's been in the studio once before, too.
Yes.
But I want to wish my mother a very happy birthday, who's an avid viewer of KUSI and of On the Air. She is celebrating her 50th anniversary of her 32nd year. Happy birthday, Mom. Also, I want to point out a very special guest in the audience. As you know, every year we ride our bicycles, 700 miles in 7 days or so, for the Challenged Athletes Foundation, and Loft 100 Studios and Sully Entertainment Group has been presenting sponsor of this $1 million challenge event for the last 3 years, and we've committed to do it again. But the last night, when we're in Dana Point, and I'm about ready to, we're on mile 580 or 600 or whatever, and we're ready to come back into San Diego. Great. There's always a really great keynote speaker, and this year we got a chance to meet Alex Ruiz, and Alex Ruiz has a great story, and you're going to hear about it because we're going to have him on as a guest at one point. I'm just going to give you the punchline. He ends up getting a new leg from Drew Brees, and he's right there in our audience right there. Alex, good to see you, buddy. Do you have a picture of that? Do you have a photograph of that at all, Jared? Look at that. How do you like that? Bam.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's graduating from USC this year, and of course he's going into PR and perhaps broadcasting. So we have him here. This is sort of a recruitment trip for him.
Yes.
I'm not sure if he's ready. All right, so we get started. We have a big show. Let's do it.
All right.
You guys have any idea who's in studio today? You've heard. Okay. Good.
This is going to be
Thanks
awesome.
for killing that.
He's a San Diego native, born and raised in Claremont, California. Madison High School, class of 1996. USD, class of 2000. The 37th mayor of San Diego. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Todd Gloria.
My goodness. The Honorable Todd Gloria.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
True story. When we started the show, episode 1, Sully says, "Hey, Tommy, let's get Todd Gloria as our first guest." It took 110 episodes for you to be
110.
Yes.
Well,
Not busy.
I'll let you know I've not been at home with my feet up.
Hey, I do have a question for you.
Sure, what's up?
Because, you know, I've been studying and reading all about you. Your parents must be very proud. Your dad was a gardener.
Yeah.
Your mom, a hotel maid.
Yes.
You're the mayor of San Diego.
It's wild, right?
How did that happen?
Well, we live in a really special place. I mean, I think San Diego is an incredible place if you're willing to work hard. There are opportunities are here, but you know, my parents taught me to our responsibility in life is to leave things better than you found it. That I don't think was a public service message, but that really was what it ended up being for me. And you know, they worked hard, sacrificed, worked their fingers to the bone for my brother and I. And you know, I didn't have any choice but to succeed because they were counting on me to go beyond what they were able to achieve in their own lives.
And you're in 9th grade, I believe, and you meet a congresswoman named Susan Davis.
Well,
what does she mean to you?
Well, she's like a second mom. She's absolutely my mentor, but she wasn't a congressperson yet. I was actually, she was running a nonprofit program. It was organized by the Price family, the folks that
Price Club.
Price Club, Costco, we all love it, right? And they created a program to remember their grandson who passed away from cancer at a young age. And I got paired up with Susan, and the rest is history. I mean, I had parents that were really telling me the right morals and values, but it was Susan that helped me understand how you actually put that to work for your community.
When did we see you in politics first in San Diego? Was it city council? Was that the
That's
first
my first
story?
job. Yeah, my first elected job.
The first elected job. And what did you do before that? Were you in the public sector doing something else for another elected official?
Well, I was working for the congresswoman. So, you know, it's a good lesson for young people. You know,
Yeah.
you never know where people will end up. When we
Sure.
got paired up when I was 14, did I know she's going to be a congressperson? Did I know I'd run for city council? No. We just had a shared passion for public service. But to answer your question, I was running her office in San Diego. Before that, I worked for the county of San Diego. I've always worked in the public sector. I love that my responsibility in my career is to get up and just make this city a better place for folks to live.
Was it more difficult as a city council member, or is it more difficult as mayor? I know the jobs are two different, but I mean, I've heard I've heard stories about both. I've heard that it's really tough to be a city councilman because you're boots on the ground with those constituents every single day. Obviously, the mayor, you've got a top-down umbrella approach, and everybody's your responsibility.
Yeah.
What was a harder workday? What was a longer workday for you?
Mayor by far.
Oh, really?
And some of that's to do with the time. You know, I was sworn in December 2020. I wouldn't recommend that exactly. But it's also, you know, we have 9 council districts, right? So 150,000 people, you know, the urban neighborhoods that I represented. While it wasn't easy, there's huge issues that are there, but it's more digestible. Now, you know, 1.4 million people, you know, lots of responsibilities. I'm the city manager. People don't always realize that. It's not just the mayor, but we have a strong mayor form of government. So the 11,000 employees that make our city work, you know, I'm their boss. So it's everything from the 1.4 million bosses that I have to the 11,000 employees I oversee, plus all the issues, homelessness, housing, infrastructure, all of it. So it's a lot more difficult as mayor. But that said, I love my job, and I'm privileged to wake up every day to do it.
And I've been, you know, reading up on you, and I have an important question
Here
to
it
ask
comes.
you.
I'm just going to
Lay it on me.
Here it
Let's
comes.
go, Tommy.
Hey.
How much money do you have in your checking account?
No. This is
Typical Tommy question. How much do you make?
I'm taking this interview seriously, and I studied. Okay, Janet Jackson's coming to town. Okay? Listen.
Can you get us tickets?
Janet Jackson's
Can you get us
coming.
tickets?
Can I just walk in with your entourage?
I got to find out if I can go, right? And I think people have some mistaken notions. You know, usually when I talk to kids going to school, best part of the job, going to hang out with kids, I'm trying to encourage them to do public service, but they always have some impression that like I live in some big mayor's mansion. And I'm like, no, I live in an apartment that I rent. So the notion that, you know, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, will give me VIP treatment.
Wow.
I mean, maybe I can make a call or two, but...
You know you can.
well... I also don't think that people, you know, when I go like pick up my dry cleaning, almost to a person every single time, what are you doing picking up your own dry cleaning? I'm like, who else is going to pick up my dry cleaning?
Tommy from now on, because you get him Janet Jackson tickets.
That's funny. All right, we have more
let's
guests to
continue.
bring
What do
out.
we got
We
going?
have more questions for Todd later. Another San
You
Diego
mean Mayor
native.
Gloria, by the way?
Yes, Mayor Gloria.
Todsky.
All right, our next guest is another San Diego native, a graduate of East Lake High School, graduate of San Diego State University. Many say he's the future of San Diego politics, the Deputy Chief of Staff to Todd Gloria, Nick Serrano.
Did you pick Voodoo Child?
I did.
You picked Voodoo Child as your
did.
walk-on?
I did.
I'm impressed.
Kudos.
Very good.
Shout out to my mother. She's
Yeah,
a
and
classic rock enthusiast.
your mom is in law enforcement.
She is.
Your
She
dad
is.
in law enforcement.
Correct.
And how was that growing up? You couldn't do anything wrong, right?
I was definitely kept on the straight and narrow. That's for sure. My mom was an employee with the County of San Diego for a long time, and she moved through the ranks up to the Sheriff's Department. And then my father was a San Diego police officer, went to the district attorney's office, and that's how I got my start in public service.
Did you ever
too.
get a ticket?
I have.
What,
I have-
did you pull out the card? Did you pull
No,
out?
I did not. I did
Could
not.
you
'cause-
could you
You
have?
guys think we do.
I would set that mayor's coin right on the dashboard just as he's walking up. Boom.
No. I definitely did not, and certainly my father let me know very early on, do not call me, because my mom's famous line was, "I can't help you." Like,
If you got a ticket and didn't tell them, would they find out anyway?
I'm sure they would.
Okay.
I'm sure they would.
This is the type of thing people want to know.
Yeah.
Okay? These are the hard impact questions you get on this program.
I'm actually more scared about the mayor finding out if I got a ticket.
As he should be.
So I have a question for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2014.
Yeah.
You get asked to move someone's office from one location to another. Who was that, and how did that day change your life?
Well, it was for then interim mayor Todd Gloria. It's a funny story. Well, not funny, but it's certainly how I got my start in this business, and I'm grateful for the experience. 2014, I started with then city council member and interim mayor Todd Gloria as an intern. I was working in his city council office, and at that time he was interim mayor, so he was on the 11th floor. So I had never actually met him my first whole month. And it was the end of his time there, and they had just elected the new mayor. It was time for them to transition, so I get a call to go upstairs, and they needed help moving some stuff back down to the council office. And there's a picture of my first picture with the mayor was in that office. And so how it changed my life was really, I always, like the mayor was talking about when we get to speak to young people, you always look for in a career when you can find your purpose and you can say that this is what motivates me, this is what gets me out of bed, this is what I want to do. And I really found it in working in the city council office for then city council member Todd Gloria. We get to help people every day.
And you were helping by carrying the box of books that he wouldn't carry.
Famously, my line on this
Mayor
is,
Gloria's like, I'll carry the pillows. Get that kid up down here from the 6th floor to carry the boxes.
He's young and strong.
Sure,
he
why
could do
not?
it. Yeah.
and like I said, when we got elected to the mayor's office, I'm very proud of the fact that the first time that I met the mayor was in the mayor's office to move his stuff out as an intern, and I was proud to be able to run the campaign that got him elected.
Who did you get to move the boxes back in?
It was Bob Phillip.
Too soon. I think I moved those boxes back in.
I remember I remember that era really, and you and I had a lot of interviews at that time, doing Kogo Radio in the afternoon. And I started that drive-through for the Filner petition.
Oh, that's right.
And I recall what a tumultuous time that was. I think we all forget just how upside down this place was during the Filner headlock years. Not to be glib about it, but it really was a messed up time. And I think we've come a long way since then with respect to what's, oversight and everything else. And that was an interesting time for you to get involved in politics as a young man, considering you're 18 years old right now. That would have put you at 14.
Don't let the moisturizer fool you.
But that's
That's
cool.
a T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
East Lake High School, Chula Vista.
Home of the Titans. Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Remember when Eastlake wasn't even there? My parents both went to Chula Vista High School.
Have you seen it now?
Oh, yes.
I mean-
it's amazing how I don't even remember who the first developer was in East Lake, but I remember when Chula Vista,
Probably Corky.
when I was a kid and you were a kid, was this nice area to grow up in.
It stopped at Bonita Vista High School.
Yeah, it did. And then all of a sudden, there was this whole regentrification
Right.
of that area. And man, they made it an oasis, and now it looks like it's I mean, I'm surprised we don't have a stadium down there, and we don't have an airport down there, because it is its own area of San Diego. It's almost like a separate Orange County-ish type thing if you compare it to everything else. So well done for the people down there, and especially maybe law enforcement that's doing a great. Am I kissing up to our next guest already?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
She is the chief of police to the city that I love. From the city of Chula Vista, the newest drone pilot, Chief Roxana Kennedy.
There she is. Great to see you again.
You always come bearing gifts, right?
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
All right,
You know, I am the biggest promoter of Chula Vista, so I was pretty excited to hear you talking about that, and that you're a resident of Chula Vista. You started off your life. So these are our newest K9. You know
Mondo.
anything about Star Wars?
A little
This
bit.
is for the Mandalorian. So
Oh,
this is
I
Mondo.
see. See, this is the type of thing, Nick, that you put on your dashboard when the cops pull you. You just happen to go from here to here. Yes, sir. Can I help? And just and then they see that you have to tilt it like this so they can see it out of the driver's side window. And of course, if you don't see this, folks, it says Chula Vista Police Department right there. Is there anything? I have to ask you this. Is there anything? You know, the 911 Society and I support sheriff. If I make a license plate frame that says I support Roxana Kennedy, is that going to get me off anything?
I think that might get you a ticket. I think it's quite the
I was trying to
opposite.
work it.
Yeah. Yes.
We have to go back and visit your history a little bit, because it's really interesting how you got into law enforcement and everything else, and your trajectory. Talk about that in the very beginning.
Well, I never planned on being in law enforcement whatsoever. I actually had some situations where I had met some female officers, and we were chatting and talking, and then one of the female officers said to me, "You would be a good cop." And I was like, "Me? Are you kidding me? Me?" Because I was in.
What was the
Don't laugh,
situation?
don't laugh.
What was the situation that they said that?
What are you doing?
You a bouncer somewhere?
No. I was in, believe it or not, and everyone makes fun of me for this, but I was in the flower industry, flower business. And so
cool?
they.
That's cool.
Yep, I had.
Was it Thug Life Flowers down on Imperial?
Don't tell anyone, okay? You want to keep those things private. But I just never expected to be in law enforcement. And when she said that to me, I started like really looking at cops out in the field, and I started seeing myself in the position. And so that's kind of how it happened. We call it the tap, you know, the nod to people. They don't always see themselves in that role. So it's been.
I want to know, like, the tipping point when you decide I'm going to fill out the application for city council, and when I'm going to like answer this recruiting call, and you answering, getting in public service. I mean, do you guys remember the tipping point where that all happened? Like the second it happened?
Go ahead.
Apparently not. Okay, great question.
No, I think for me, it was just, I just started looking at myself. And being in business, anyone knows this, business is difficult.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there were times when you can't pay yourself, but you got to pay your employees. And I started thinking about, wow, what could I do? And I started looking at law enforcement and seeing the amazing things that you can do in law enforcement, because oftentimes people just see and they think that all we do is arrest people. They don't understand all the things that you do in law enforcement that truly help people through the most difficult times of their lives. And so that was fascinating, because every day is different. And so, you know, I put myself through Southwestern College, Police Academy.
Back then, the
And-
Apaches.
Very much so. And it was, I started off thinking, okay, I'm just going to be a reserve officer, or I'm going to be, back then they had marshals that handled the courts instead of sheriffs. Well, I could just do that Monday through Friday, and then I could still do my business on the weekend. But when I went into the academy and started learning everything, I just was overwhelmed with how amazing this job was. I'm almost at 31 years now, and I've never looked back.
Wow.
8 stars, 5 bars later.
Well, after the break,
I want to know from these guys how this started, unless we have more guests, don't we?
we'll bring out our next guest.
All right. On the air's on the air. Thanks for coming today, guys. Looks like it's going to be a show. Wow. Look who's in studio today. My goodness. Chief Roxana Kennedy. Deputy Chief of Staff Nick Serrano. And of course, Mayor Todd Gloria. The Sully Band. It's the Tommy Show. Right. You know what? Are you still getting people walking up to you and say, I love you on the Sully Show?
Yeah, it annoys me. It annoys me. It's called On the Air with Sully and Little Tommy, but if I'm at the
You want to change it for a week? Let's just change it up. It's called the Tommy Show.
It is. It is the Tommy Show. but I do get stuff when I get stopped. Everyone does say, "Hey, I love the Sully Show," and I
and you just ignore them and you walk by. He goes like this, nothing.
It's all good. But I want to bring out our next guest. Let's play some music.
2, 3, 4.
Former mayor of Encinitas, former county supervisor,
Wow.
current president and CEO of Palomar Health Foundation. But more importantly, she's a cheer mom. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristin Gaspar.
There it is. Look at this. A recovered politician.
That's right. I'm all refreshed and everything. The knives are out of my bag. Good day.
Does this feel like old home week? Because you're with your people. You guys are with your
I
people.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how I ended up with this crew.
Was there a hierarchy between county supervisors and city council people? Was there always kind of like, was there ever a football game or a baseball game?
Actually, that's a great idea. There might be a little bit of a rivalry, but not too much. What I can say about Mayor Gloria is that you always took meetings with me. And so I do appreciate that because there are some elected leaders in this region. We're not going to name names solely, but they're mean. But not this guy.
Darn.
He's got a good Colgate smile. Plus, he has.
Do you take every meeting?
Most, yeah.
I always listen. I tell people all the time, never turn down a meeting. You never know. You never know. I mean,
particularly
I'm
for
sure
a
there's
college.
some meetings like.
Listen, the city and the county have to work together.
Yeah.
Big issues like homelessness, like you're not gonna make progress if we're not working together. And I certainly appreciated all of your focus and concern around that. What I would say about the football game, I'm not your guy. I'd probably be doing the cheer squad. Or I'd be doing the on-field playing, but we'll make a good duo for that. I think maybe
might be
you can
kinda
teach me a few
fun.
moves.
That would be fun to watch. I would like that.
What are you? So now that you're not my supervisor anymore in my district, what are you doing for a living now? What do you? How you know, people like me ask you to come back every single week into office. What do you do?
Well, thank you. Well, I'm still over at Palomar Health, and I'm heading up the Palomar Health Foundation and Government Affairs for Palomar, and we're doing some really unique
You're an
things.
intern there, right? Or
No.
what's your title?
President and CEO.
Yeah, she's a.
So I've got a cool title now, but we're doing some incredible work, in particular with young people, really getting them out to our campus to explore careers in healthcare. So I'm barely recovered from 1,200 middle schoolers that we had out at Palomar over the past couple months for Middle School MD, where they got to rotate through different skills labs and really explore what future possibilities there might be in healthcare in our region. So that's a fun project of mine, and working on a tiny little project that might help you guys out in law enforcement and within the city, which is the construction of a behavioral health hospital.
Wow. That's
Yeah, so really meaningful work. I'm enjoying it.
Didn't we play for you guys? Did we play for a Palomar Health thing?
You did.
That's right.
The
Okay.
Sully band
That's right.
was in the house
Yeah, that's
for
right.
Health Rock.
That's a great facility.
It really is beautiful.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot of community support out there. You know, we played for your, I forget the name of the event.
Health Rocks. And
Health
how
Rocks.
often do you get to have a giant concert outside?
But
of
the point is I didn't think anybody was going to be there. Who's going to show up for a health fair? You guys have great support out there.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
absolutely.
And hats off to you for doing that.
But my question, I follow you on social media.
Thank you.
I think I follow all of you. And,
That's just creepy and weird.
and recently,
lie.
you've been posting photos of your daughter.
Yes.
What's going on there?
So I have two daughters that are both in All-Star Cheer, and this is next level. I mean, There are a lot of times where I'm doing hair on a mannequin thinking, what
I know, I
how
do
have
that all the
gotten
time.
here?
Every time I'm doing hair in a mannequin.
And where I realized it hit like at an all-time low when I'm in Starbucks clipping out zip ties from my daughter's hair to get her extra ponytail extension out.
Well, look at that hair again. Let's show that photo. What's going on
What
there?
is that?
Oh my.
I mean, hello.
It's Medusa hair.
Kudos to the ultimate cheer mom there.
Did
I
you
mean,
make that?
hello?
Does that hair do that when she's standing still?
I think so. It should, if it doesn't.
You know, Mary Bird Godwin, our den mother here.
She's a dance mom.
Is a dance mom.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
So she knows.
Are there similarities with?
Oh, she's doing this.
Yeah.
She's doing.
Yeah.
Because you can't get a hold of Mary past like 11 on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Because she's somewhere in some auditorium.
We're on an airplane.
Is that how?
We're traveling every single weekend.
Do you guys remember the days when Little League happened like from 8 to 9 on a Saturday morning, and that was it?
Yeah, no, it's
Like
not-
maybe you got to practice at the thing. I remember UC Little League. Let me bring you back to a gentler time. The year
Oh no.
was 1968. A little Bobby Sullivan, chubby, ignoring the jeers of the other baseball players in UC Little League, skipped every single practice, and we won the whole dang thing. Now you guys have got travel ball, you got practice 5 days a week, you got a strength trainer. You know, at some point, you have to have your own lives, ladies. Because I remember my daughters were in volleyball, and I can't remember seeing the light of day on some weekends because you're in a volleyball. I mean,
I'm planning ahead. I'm coming up with hobbies. It's going to be a couple more years. And I'm going to find myself a hobby. I'm going to figure out how to have fun again. We're not quite there
that's
yet.
fun though. Come on, it's fun. It's just
Can we talk about this woman though? Mattel really needs to create a Chief Kennedy Barbie.
Yes.
Don't you think? I mean, this woman.
no.
You don't know what you just did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness!
Chief-
I can make that happen.
Kennedy
They're gonna say that at work now. You just
Yeah.
made
And
it
this
difficult
one-
for me.
Chief Kennedy Barbie.
So she wears her heart on her sleeve, but make no mistake, this Disney princess is going to take you down if need be.
Oh.
But what
You know,
I
we
love,
tried to ask her to one time here in studio
What?
with the late great Rusty Nails, and
Arm wrestle?
thankfully you had more class than we did. Russ says, "Hey, on the air, arrest me and take me down, pin me, act like it's a DUI." And of course, Chief Kennedy's like, "Hey, look, this is no joking matter. DUI is a problem in this city. Maybe not make a joke out of it." Yes, you
When
did.
I retire, you can show the
Yeah, we have the
outclips. Not now.
But I do have a question because you chose for your walk-up song Top Gun.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I am very proud and pleased that I successfully completed my FAA Part 107 drone certification. And so I have a whole new appreciation for aviation and what they go through. It was an extremely tough test, but I've flown our big DFR drones.
Oh, we saw it in my backyard. I saw it. Well done.
All right.
Are you going to get in a real plane? That next?
I
Come
don't
on.
know about that. I don't know about that.
All right. More on the air. We're going to talk about the best of San Diego coming up. Stand by. We got much more coming. On the air. It's on the air. Can you name the album? Can you name the band and the label?
Badfinger.
Yeah. And what was the label? Beatles.
Apple.
That's exactly right. Were you a DJ
No matter
or
what.
something?
What was that?
You were a DJ or something?
Yeah, I just love that song. I got a question first.
All right.
So, Mayor Todd Gloria.
Yes, Tommy Splunk.
So, when you're mayor, you're probably thinking of San Diego all the time. How do you turn it off? Like, do you ever, I'm assuming you have 3 cell phones, maybe even 4. Like, how do you turn it off and just rest and just, your own time?
I'm just waiting for 2029. That's when I get to do that. Yeah, I'm not good at that. And I talk to young people, as I mentioned. I always tell them I don't do this well, but you should, which is have a good work-life balance. I don't do that well. I'm not particularly proud of that. But I also recognize that what I do is a temp job. Right, good, bad, or indifferent. I only can do it for up to 8 years, so I got to go 110% the whole time. So, not great for my family. I don't, participate in all the things I really should and I want to. But I signed up for this. I committed to do 8 years, and I'm going to do it. And so, you catch me on the beach with Sully having a beer or something about 2029. How about
Sully
that?
beer.
Is that a date?
Yes, thank
There you go.
But speaking of family, your mom Doesn't she follow you around and like is she's like your #1 fan in the front row?
Well, I mean, aren't all our mothers, but actually, my mom has significant health issues, so she doesn't follow me around. But I tell you, Tommy, I don't get off the television station or any interview without her calling or texting immediately. You did a great job, baby. I love you.
Don't you love that?
Every social media post, great job. And
awesome.
I was blessed with the best parents on the face of the earth. My mom is my chief defender, and I know that nothing's promised. It's not forever, and so I sometimes think about what it's going to be the day when I don't get that phone call. So I try and treasure it as much as I can, but it's hard to balance that with demands of running the 8th largest state in the country.
Well, and Nick, not only are you working for Mayor Todd Gloria, you're also the vice chair of San Diego County Water Authority.
Yeah, true story.
Tell us about that.
It's an opportunity that I really never could have imagined, and I do have to thank the mayor and our city council for giving me the opportunity to serve there. And really what that was just an extension of my public service in the mayor's office. We at the city of San Diego, have an outsized role in terms of making sure that water is delivered to our customers since we're the largest city in the region. It was time for the city to really lean into that, and that was something that the mayor recognized early on, and so it made sense for someone in the mayor's office to be serving there, to be able to make decisions on behalf of the city, and we're doing a lot of great work to really focus on, my main focus is always going to be about water affordability, making sure that people can afford the water that's provided to them, and then obviously to make sure that they have access to it. There's a lot of news stories right now about the drought and the availability of water. Fortunately, the city of San Diego has done a lot of great work to become more water independent, to create our local sources of water, which can contribute to this affordability conversation. One of the best things that has come from that is that other folks have started to follow and start creating projects like our Pure Water. You see it happening in Los Angeles, and I know the mayor loves when San Diego leads and Los Angeles follows. So there's just a lot of good work that's happening there, and so I'm proud to be able to have that opportunity.
Nick Serrano, the 38th mayor of San Diego.
Sully, I have an idea.
Yes, what's your idea?
So it's not very
This
often
should be good.
that you have a real life mini-me, and you need to strike more work-life
I know you
balance.
do kinda-
So you just tap him.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
I
give him your
think that's a
speech.
supreme compliment. I think it's very kind of a sad thing for Nick.
Kind of cool,
He got 15 years and about 50 pounds on him, but
I've always taken that as a compliment, because the mayor is obviously someone that I look up to. He's the only elected official that I've worked for, and I've been able to work for him in every step of his career, city council to the assembly, and then now in the mayor's office, and like he talked about earlier with Congresswoman Susan Davis. Well, Todd Gloria is my Susan Davis, and he's the person who's teaching me, how to serve in public service, how to navigate some of these difficult things that we have to do. And so I'm grateful and honored, and so
That's awesome.
yeah.
I think the big question here is who's your Susan Davis?
Mick Jagger.
Really?
I
knew that was
to that show.
Listen, I know you guys hate these type of questions because you can't pick one. So I'm not going to ask you to pick one.
Okay.
But what's your go-to for lunch? What's the go-to? No, come on. Doesn't mean it's your favorite. They're the best. I understand you guys have got to be very careful about this. Like what's your, like
And
for you?
Kristen's an
I want to know.
Escondido these
Is
days,
it
right?
Yeah.
like listen? I didn't ask you your favorite burrito. That would have been a tough one because I did that on the radio one time.
Fiesta.
We did a two-day Kogo topic on what's your favorite burrito. I know this is really no seriously. But honestly, is it tacos or pizza? I mean, what are we talking about? Is it salad? Is it fast food? Is it restaurant? Is it sit down? What is it?
First.
I'm going with Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm all in. Yeah, those crinkle
Do you get?
fries.
Do you guys get a chance to sit down and eat? Other than in the
No.
car.
Here's my thing.
No.
I have never enough time, and I'm cheap as hell. So fast food is always going to be what the
right,
Mayormobile
fair
rolls through. There's probably not a drive-through in this town that doesn't recognize when I come through.
Nick?
Hilarious.
Sure. My go-to is In-N-Out. I mean, that's my
Good for
default.
you.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Nick.
Apparently, you don't have to wear a uniform. That's getting tighter. But, salads are my favorite, but
Salads are no one's favorite.
they're my favorite. Really? But in my freezer at the PD
what's
is
in the
usually lean cuisine.
Okay.
A quick pull it out.
Don't you think though that we're turning into a foodie city a little bit? I mean, I was born and
Yes,
raised here.
I
It's,
do.
it's great.
Yes.
I mean, we were in aerospace. We were a fishing city, and then we were an aerospace city, and then we're a craft brew city. Now I think we're turning into kind of a foodie city now. I think there's places in every single corner of this county
Correct.
that has great restaurants in them. And I don't know if that was a purposeful thing with any sort of political influence, but man, we've turned into a great center. And look no further than Diners, Dives, and whatever that show is at Guy Fieri. I mean, we're featured all the time on those things, and I don't think our restaurant industry gets enough applause. Let's talk about Chula Vista's restaurant, La Bella's Pizza.
Felipe's.
Right? I mean,
And
honestly.
Felipe's, yes, those are old school.
The old
traditional.
Hawaiian Gardens.
Yeah.
This is why Tommy doesn't hike with me anymore. I'm thoroughly convinced he's out at all these fine dining restaurants.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to get out of Chula Vista quick.
Yes, yes. But I have a question for you after the break. I want to talk about your trips to Mexico.
Okay.
Can we talk about that?
Absolutely.
All right.
See, you never talk about your trips to Mexico. On the air. Give these guys a round of applause. Kristin Gaspar, Mayor Todd Gloria, Nick Serrano, Chief Roxana, Sully, Tommy, and the Sully Band. Stand by.
All right.
The Yacht Rock set.
Well, all four of our guests give back to the community in a huge way, but you've recently been to Mexico.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So I'm the president of a nonprofit called Project Compassion, and I lead medical mission trips all over the world. And we just got back from Tijuana, which it's been hard to do mission trips recently because a lot of people after COVID are afraid to travel. But we went in and we worked in 3 different areas of Tijuana, and one of them was a refugee camp. So that was really a unique experience to go and see the stories from people that are traveling from all over the world to come for a better life. And some of the stories were heartbreaking, and these were families. There were about 1,300 people at this one refugee camp. But I'll tell you, the interesting thing that I found is it doesn't matter where you're from, people are they're just amazing, and they were very resilient and really happy about the opportunity to be at this church. And so we set up all these medical clinics with registration, triage, and doctors. They go through appointments, and you see people that have just been through a lot. So to me, that's my passion. That's what I love doing. I'm leading a trip to Malawi, Africa in July. That's my vacation.
Wow.
And we'll go to, I have a son in Africa, a Malawian son that we put through medical school, so he works with us as one of the doctors. And I get emotional when I talk about it, because when people talk about the United States, they have no idea, if you've never been to other truly third world countries, and see how little people have. People don't even have shoes. They live in villages, and if they don't have the ability to grow their own food, sometimes they don't eat. So to me, I think that everybody should take a part in doing something to lift people up. I don't believe in
said.
I don't believe in handouts. I believe in lift ups.
My goodness. Yeah, I've been complaining about my microphone for a while. See, we should take a page out of this. Tommy and I have a little bit of a not-for-profit. It's called Doctors Without Licenses, and we need to change. We got to do something else.
I didn't say that, Joe.
We should get involved in another charity. Listen, we don't have a charity yet for this year. What is it? What's the website for that?
It's Project Compassion.
Project Compassion.
ProjectCompassion.org. They're right up in Rancho Bernardo. All volunteer-based, so nobody gets paid. It actually costs you money to be a part of Project Compassion, because all these people that go on these trips with us have to pay. And I'm going to tell you right now, the companies that are making a lot of money are airlines, because the prices have gone up dramatically on how much it costs.
JP1A, jet fuel. That's what's going down.
Yep.
And then of course there's a supply demand issue. I can get into the business side of this all day.
I listen to you.
Don't do that.
And Kristin,
Whatever you do.
And Kristin, during the holidays, you took care of a lot of people with your breaking and entering Christmas.
Well, thank you for the inspiration. I'd say it was a stolen idea, but
That's what he says when you're not here.
But actually, it was one of the most meaningful experiences of my life to bring a Santa's Workshop concept to Palomar Health. And it was born out of what you do in our community by taking care of families during the holiday season. And we sent out one communication to our workforce that said, hey, what's your year been like? Can you help us stock the shelves of a Santa's Workshop? Or is this a year you need to visit the North Pole? And we don't check tax returns, anything like that. When people come to us, they really need help. And it's surprising how much need there is out there right now, right in front of our faces in our own community. So if you can believe it, within an hour, I had 242 kids signed up. I started to panic slightly because we do need to raise all the money for the shopping. And just ask my husband, I'm really good at shopping. So this is a great task for me. But we have to raise the money to go out and purchase all of these toys. And at the end of the day, the families come in, they're able to stuff a stocking for their kids. They pick up a gingerbread house to do together as a family. They pick out 4 items for each child. And then they're given a stuffed toy or an Eddie Bauer blanket. And this year we were blessed to be able to do tickets to SeaWorld, the bowling alley, and grocery gift cards. And my team worked day in and day out so that we didn't turn a single child away. So the generosity of our community was in order, and also our fellow employees. And we worked all through Christmas Eve and took care of 430 kids
Wow,
in
good
Lake
job.
County.
Wow. What is that? Is there a website we can go and check that out? What is it?
There sure is. It's PalomarHealthFoundation.org. So if you need a charity, I can get you guys.
Okay,
I can use a check, Sully, actually.
I know. Here it
How about a
comes.
credit card?
All right.
You said it.
I step up when need be. I have a need, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And it sounds like this.
Super Bowl prediction.
Right?
No.
Okay, you must have an inroad with the NFL. You must hear tell about that. We're a mega region here. And let me ask you this. San Diego Stadium. Let me bring you back to a gentler time.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
The year was 65, and a 100% taxpayer-funded stadium, which cost $25 million, which won every single design award, made San Diego a little nice place to live. Let's list them. Street scene. Billy Joel concert. NCAA
Rolling Stones.
championship.
Rolling
Stones. Billy Graham. Up with People. The All-Star game. Have I mentioned the Chargers once? No. Chargers were just our biggest tenant. Why? First of all, we need to have an NFL stadium here. It needs to be right next door to the convention center and to the Petco Park. But more importantly, before the stadium, we probably should have a team. Any word? I mean, look at the Chargers are dead to me. The Chargers are dead to me since they left. I was born. I watched John Hadel, just like you did. Gary Garrison, Lance Allworth, back in the '70s.
Bob Babbage.
But yes, you mean the founder of CAF? Oh, that's Bob Babbitt. Sorry, Bob Babbage, the middle linebacker. Yeah. Any word at all? Can you give us any? Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Are they inquiring?
No. Oh. Listen, I don't believe in lying to people. So I want to be an honest politician. Listen, here's the thing. You know, I lived through their exit, right? I represented downtown where you would like the stadium, where they actually ran a proposal. We've run campaigns. That was not a real campaign. That was an excuse to be able to go to LA, where they could instantly increase the value of the team, overnight. What we have, though, is still the best market in a credible city.
It's a mega region. Think about this. There isn't a single city in the U.S. that has a mega region, including Mexico, and including the East Valley and San Diego. It is a giant planet here.
So here's what we got to do. I mean, we have to continue to make ourselves attractive for whomever may come. And so you see me pursuing a new sports arena because that also needs replacement. We have Snapdragon Stadium, which is fantastic. We have MLS that is actively looking at bringing a franchise here to San Diego. We already have 2 great soccer teams, the Wave and the Loyal, who are here. We're going to host the World Championship of Lacrosse later this year. Breeders' Cup, I think, is going to be coming back to San Diego. We have a lot of positive sports news here. We don't need the NFL to do that, but we are a big city. And, I think that we are worthy of that investment. But what I know is that the days of taxpayer-funded stadiums are over, and that it really requires billionaires to actually invest in our city, as so many of them already choose to do.
And you and I had this conversation on the radio before. But it wasn't lining the pockets of a billionaire, because it made San Diego a nicer place to live. As I just mentioned, all of those things that happened made San Diego better. Chargers were just the biggest tenant. And I realized that they had to put enough money in there. I think part of what happened is the message was wrong. Build us a new Charger stadium. What about a San Diego stadium or a San Diego event space? And I realize Snapdragon's going to do part of that. But I think, look at the economic impact of what a Super Bowl brings us and what an NFL team brings us. And I realize there's two sides of that story. But at the end of the day, aren't we just Sacramento with just a baseball team?
Oh, someone throw a drumstick at him. Harley. Listen, no.
I just teed that up.
Wait, hold
He
on.
deserves a ticket for that one, right?
Seal this.
Okay, I want to clarify my last statement. I was saying, as a sports city, we're basically Portland right now. We have one major league team. I understand we have MLS coming, we got rugby coming, we got soccer, blah, blah, blah. Do you remember the days? Let me bring you back to it, John. The San Diego Rockets,
Yes.
the San Diego Gulls,
Conquistadors.
the Qs.
Yes.
That's Conquistadors, right?
Yeah.
The Celtics, not Celtics. The
Rockets.
Clippers.
no, the other one, Clippers. Thank you, Donald Sterling. Padres, Chargers. Now, I realize that it is not possible to have all those teams. So you look at, I think one of San Diego's problems as a city is we have such a great city, there's so much stuff to do that look at, we're going to add another thing to do, and we don't get the type of support Green Bay does because there's nothing to do there but watch football. At the same time, I think it's a missed opportunity for the NFL. I'm not suggesting we're doing anything wrong here as a city, but this is a mega region here. If this is all about money and advertising, we are at the bed of it. We're at the heart of it. And I think at some point, I just want you guys to have your ear to the ground, see if there's any whispers, because I need to know. Bring us an NFL team.
Bring an exclusive.
Anybody else want an NFL team in San Diego? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
They just, again, it comes back to your credit card. That's
Yeah, I know,
all we
I know.
need. Get your credit card out.
Yes.
We can make it happen.
Yeah.
I'd sponsor a pro
Investments are a little
softball team.
down right now, as you've mentioned, but maybe they'll start moving forward and we'll
need to.
be able to do it.
All right.
Well, I love today's show. Today's episode was really cool. And will you perform a song later?
No, not today. No, not till I get my NFL team.
Well, let's go down the line. What do you have coming up?
Oh my gosh, I have a really special project trying to bring intergenerational daycare to Palomar for our workforce. This is a project.
What does that mean?
It's senior care meets daycare for preschool aged children, and it's being done up in Van Nuys in the most amazing way. But this interaction between generations is really powerful, and it's this model that's been around for a long time, but tough to pull off. So financially, to build the infrastructure to make it happen, and just to have the passion to move forward with a project like that. But for Palomar, if we want to differentiate ourselves and continue to be this employer of choice, we need to find ways to do meaningful things for our workforce that's a bit different. So I'm really excited about what the future has in store for an intergenerational daycare for Palomar.
Wow.
What are you working on, Mayor Gloria? What's top of? Is it?
Apparently, I'm waiting for the NFL to call me.
Well, yes, you are.
The door is always open. If anyone's watching, we are always happy to have conversations.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe keying off of that same thing. Something I'd share with you my experience with my parents and with Congresswoman Davis and what sort of led to my career in public service. This is sort of a full circle moment. The state of California was kind enough to give us a $17 million grant for youth employment. We've turned that into something I call employ and empower, and we're focusing on young people, and we're trying to particularly focus on foster youth and aging out kids in that range to get them paid internships at the city. We have over 200 kids who've already taken up this opportunity, and Sully and Tommy, our goal is to get them in those internships, but then to graduate them to a career at the city. 1 in 5 of our positions at the city right now are vacant. So when we can't fill potholes or repair streetlights, it's because often we don't have the staffing to do it. Right. We're all dealing with workforce issues. But finding these kids who might choose a different path and instead give them a paid internship and then graduate them into city jobs, this is how we can solve this workforce issue and invest in the next generation of public servants. 200 kids already in the program. 6 have already graduated to be full-time career public servants. I'm really excited about this.
Good for you.
Wow.
What are you most excited about for 2023?
I'm most excited about us under the mayor's leadership to continue doing good work at the city and getting stuff done. I mean, we have had a real tough time, coming out of the pandemic and not being able to focus on the things that I think really needed to be focused on because we spent so much time focused on, the pandemic response and getting businesses and just getting everything back to business. And so now we're really at a place where we're putting the pandemic behind us. We figured out how to live with COVID, and we have a lot of issues at the city, but we have a great leader at the helm. and we are able to, we're focused in what it is that we're doing. And so I'm just looking forward to continuing to get stuff done to make San Diego the great city that we know it can be.
Very good. Roxana, Chief.
Santa.
What's the charity again? I want to hear the charity again.
Project Compassion.
Project Compassion.
So projectcompassion.org.
All right.
I'm trying to survive in law enforcement right now. It's been tough. It's been a tough couple years, and I believe my role in law enforcement for the Chula Vista Police Department as a president of the San Diego County Chief and Sheriff's Association is to show all that's good in law enforcement. We call it the heart behind the badge at Chula Vista PD, and I'm hopeful that people start to realize that you need law enforcement,
yes,
and that our job as law enforcement leaders is to make sure we have the right people wearing the badge and uniform. And I'm going to stand up for law enforcement because I believe in it. This is my passion, and I know the people that work for us and in San Diego County love what they do. And I think it's time for people to start waving to them and telling them a thumbs up and telling them thank you, because it's a tough job and they really have a heart for service.
And on that note, that's on the air. Well done. Thank you guys for coming. Kristin Gaspar, Mayor Todd Gloria, Nick Serrano, Chief, Roxana Kennedy, I'm Sully, that's Tommy. We'll see you guys next week.